Any members of the minute to join? Madam Clerk, we okay to go?
All set, Mr. Chair.
Great, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning. Happy snow day for some of us, for all of us, I guess. I want to welcome you all to today's GE meeting, February 25th, 2022. A few items, concepts on the agenda raised today. Any remarks by the chairs? Senator Flexer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I look forward to a good meeting today, and I just want to express gratitude for everyone on this committee. Even though we will disagree today, we'll disagree in the weeks to come. We're all in this committee because we believe in democracy, and I know that all of us, our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Ukraine who are working so hard to defend theirs right now. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that and express gratitude for the work that we get to do here together in this committee and in a bipartisan fashion that sometimes results in partisan votes, but we're all here because we believe in this experiment. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Flexer. Senator Sampson, any comments?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much for the opportunity to just say a word. I appreciate very much you and your co-chairs' comments this morning. I'm delighted to participate in the second installment of the GAE committee for the 2022 session. And we are indeed fortunate that we live in the greatest country in the world and that we have the ability to disagree, even loudly sometimes. And we also agree pretty often as well. But we have the right to do both. And I think that's something that has tremendous value and cannot be lost on this planet. And when we see military aggression anywhere, it reminds us just how lucky we are to be Americans. And I appreciate that very much. Thank you for those words, Madam Chairman. And thank you very much for this agenda also. I appreciate that many of the items that are listed as concepts do have a little more detail than they did on the previous agenda. And that is duly noted. And I thank you for that.
Thank you, Senator. Representative Petresco, any comments or remarks?
Thank you, Representative Fox. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I probably just echo the remarks of Senator Flexer and Senator Sampson. We're very fortunate in this country to have our freedom. And when you look at what other countries are doing, like in Ukraine, you can understand the passion on both sides when we debate an issue. So sometimes we will agree and sometimes we won't, but we are very fortunate that we have the opportunity to do that. And my prayers go out to the families in Ukraine. If you see me, don't have a really good internet connection today. As always, we know we love the Zoom meetings. Sometimes our internet connection can fade out. So if you see my photo on the screen, I apologize. I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to keep it from disconnecting. So welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. And hopefully we'll have a great meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Thank you, Senator Flex, Senator Sanders, for your comments and sentiments shared with us today. On light of that, I'd like to, before we begin, let the committee know we'll keep votes open at 2 o'clock today for any of the members who are maybe in other meetings not with us right now, or have faulty internet connections and lose a connection and need to reconnect later. Moving on, item 3 on the agenda, concepts to be raised. There's a number of concepts we're going to raise today. The idea being that we're going to raise the concepts. If you don't necessarily agree with the underlying bill, or if you vote, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If you vote in favor of the concept, we understand does not mean a vote in favor of today's concept does not a vote in favor of the ultimate bill. These are just concepts that are being raised by the committee to put forward to public hearings to have further discussion. Moving forward, item number 1, an act requiring public hearings for special session legislation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And the second?
Second.
Made by Representative Thomas, second by Senator Sampson. Any comments or discussion? Seeing none. Oh, Senator Sampson, sorry, Senator Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It takes me a second sometimes to find that hand, the electronic hand. I want to thank the chairs for adding this item to the committee. I think it's a worthwhile discussion to talk about the public hearing process when it comes to special session legislation. So I'm pleased that it's on the agenda today. Thank you for following the procedure that we established in the first meeting, where we just kind of give a little short description of what each of these items is for the folks watching and the other committee members. And I also appreciated your caveat, which was simply that a favorable vote on any of the items on this agenda is not necessarily a vote in the affirmative on the content of the ultimate legislation that might be crafted. It is just simply an agreement to raise such a concept for a public hearing or a discussion going forward, where you might make a determination about your feelings later. I would offer this to a consent calendar, Mr. Chairman, if that is acceptable to you.
That is fine. Do we need a motion to create a consent calendar?
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
think from the other day, LCO had advised us that it was best to just combine all of the
Understood.
items together and have one voice vote on several concepts being raised.
Okay. So we'll include this on a item towards Senator Sanders. Okay, maybe we'll vote on the items that are individually votes, and then we'll circle back and we'll include this on a full vote for later on. We'll include item 1.
That sounds perfect. My guess is there may be a couple of items on this agenda that might merit a roll call vote, but the majority of them, I believe, the Republican members of the committee are okay with let them happening on one single voice vote rather than having to vote on each one up or down.
Understood. Okay. So LCO, is it okay if we set this one aside and come back to it for a bigger vote later on? Would that be the good procedure?
This is kind of unusual in this way. I mean, normally you would just make the motion for those that you want like a a vote to raise concepts 1 through 8 or something like that. But I guess maybe you would do a consent calendar if you're planning on going through them one by one.
Okay. Senator Sampson, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I've been on a number of committees over the years, and a lot of times, there are items that the members are going to have questions on, but will ultimately agree to add to a consent calendar. So I don't see a reason why we can't simply just go through them one by one, have a small discussion, and then offer each one to the consent calendar if they meet that standard. And if they don't, we'll have a roll call on those ones. And at the end, we will have a remaining list that we can take one up or down voice vote for consent.
Okay. Elsie, that's agreeable to you as well for purpose today? Shannon, I see you shaking your head.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll add number one to a consent calendar. Great. Moving on, item number 2, an act concerning conflicts of interest for certain investments. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any discussion? Senator Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a short description of what the proposed legislation is,
Of course.
if you would.
And again, without being evasive or anything, these are simply concepts today. So there's not, we don't have the ultimate final bill drafted or the language ready in front of us today. This is brought to us by the CRDA, I believe, and just again, to addressing conflict of interest for certain investments as pertaining to the CRDA, I believe.
Okay, I have no objection to this one going on the consent calendar also.
Any objections? Item number 2 being added to the consent calendar. Seeing none, item 2 will be added to the consent calendar. Item 3, an act concerning the state data plan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Representative Santiago. This is a matter brought to us by OPM. It addresses their initiatives, I believe, towards addressing the state data plan. Any comments or discussion? Representative Mastrosco, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Representative Fox. The state data plan, can you just repeat what you said? I couldn't hear you.
Sure. This matter was brought to our attention by the Office of Policy and Management, a letter to the committee dated February 22nd, and addresses the, I believe just they do a report pretty much annually addressing the state data plan. This is the either were the means of potentially addressing the comments raised in their annual report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any objections to this going on the consent calendar.
Okay. Any objections to this matter being added to the consent calendar or further discussion? Seeing none, item 3 will be added to the consent calendar. Item 4, a resolution amending the Constitution for reproductive autonomy and freedom. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, seconded by, I believe, Representative Thomas. Any comments or discussions? Senator Representative Mastrosco, I believe your hand was raised first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this item here is we want to amend the Constitution. Can you give me a little bit more details on exactly what this entails? I think amending the Constitution is a big deal. Certainly needs further discussion, at least for the members on this committee, that we should know. We should have more information. Can you kind of elaborate on that one for me, please? Exactly what does that mean?
Which part, the amendment or the
resolution amending the Constitution for reproductive autonomy and freedom? Is
again, without being evasive, it's a concept that's been pending. I don't believe the resolution has been drafted yet. But it would be it would be a constitutional amendment, which would go through the process that we've gone through like last session with early voting and absentee ballot, no excuse voting, things of that nature. So it is proposed constitutional amendment. That's correct.
Right. So I would say, Mr. Chairman, I would like a roll call vote on this particular one. I think there should be, if we were going to try to amend the Constitution to bring it up for a concept, I think everyone on the committee should be exactly clear on what it is. This is one of those particular items that we really should have language on. So I'm going to request a roll call vote on that. I have concerns with this one.
Understood.
Thank you.
A roll call vote will be taken on item number 4. Any further questions or comments? Senator Sampson, see your hand. Your hands. You got a white background, so sometimes lose the hand symbol back. But your hand is raised. Please proceed, sir.
Oh, very sorry about that, Mr. Chairman. In fact, I will try and alter the color of my hand.
Oh, no, no,
So
you
you
don't
can
need.
I have pretty much the same questions that Representative Mastro Francesco already mentioned. I have to believe that there is some purpose behind the concept, a resolution amending the Constitution for reproductive autonomy and freedom. Obviously, this sounds like something related to the abortion issue. I really wish I knew what I was voting on here. I'm not a fan of making changes to the Constitution for policy decisions unless they're of great magnitude. And I do believe the legislature has historically determined what our policy for medical procedures and abortion is. I don't know, depending on what this says, I could be very supportive of it, or I could be very unsupportive of it. And I think that presents a problem for other members of the committee to even cast a vote on such a concept. But without having any understanding of what is being done, I'm going to concur with Representative Mastro Francesco that we should have a roll call vote on this item. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. And I appreciate and value your comments as always, and understand your position moving forward with this matter. So for the time being, item number 4 will go towards a roll call vote. Any further questions or comments on item number 4? Representative Carpino, your hand is raised.
Thank you, sir. Are you at liberty to discuss or have the information available yet to explain why it is a resolution to amend the Constitution versus a resolution, as with other matters this committee hears?
I do not have that information now.
Thank you, sir. Then I have similar concerns. I will give the good chairman the benefit of the doubt today, but I'm a little concerned as to the wording at this point. Thank you, sir.
Understood. Thank you, Representative. Appreciate your comments. Any further questions or comments on item number 4? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? Item number 4.
Flexer. Senator Flexer votes yes. Fox.
Representative Fox votes yes.
Haskell.
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Thomas.
Representative Thomas votes yes.
Sampson.
Senator Sampson votes no.
Mr. Francesco.
Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Blumenthal.
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Carpino.
Representative Carpino votes yes.
Fishbein. Representative Fishbein. France.
Representative France votes no.
Haddad.
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Labriola.
Representative Labriola votes no.
McCarthy Vahey. Representative McCarthy Vahey. McCrory. Senator McCrory. Morinvello. Representative Morinvello votes yes. Palm.
Representative Palm votes yes. Palm votes yes.
Thank you. Rosario. Representative Rosario. Santiago.
Santiago votes yes.
Slack.
Senator Slapp votes yes.
One more time, Senator, please.
Senator Slapp votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All set, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on, item number 5, an act concerning various changes to election administration procedures related to registers of voters. Is there a motion?
So moved.
The
Second by Santiago.
Moved by Fletcher, seconded by Santiago. This was the matter brought to us by Rovac, the registers of voters from the state of Connecticut. I believe that they tell me technical changes, and I believe that is primarily what it consists of. Any questions or comments? Representative Mastrosky, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Representative Fox. I don't have any objection to adding this to the consent calendar.
Thank you, Representative. Any further questions or comments? Representative Palm, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm actually just calling to point out that Rep. Carpino and I seem to be the same person today. That's got to be a first. So as much as I don't mind being associated with her, for some reason, her name is coming up under my face and I don't know quite how to fix that. Christy, if you do, please go ahead. Just be nice to me when you change it.
That is beyond me, and today's gonna be a long day, ma'am. We don't want to be the same person today.
Hey, someone just did. Okay, we're all set. Thank you.
If no further comments or questions, any objection to adding number 5 to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item 5 will be added to the consent calendar. Item number 6, resolution proposing a state constitutional amendment regarding jurisdiction over election contests. Is there a motion?
So moved.
The
Second by Santiago.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Curious if I can magically change my name as well. No, I'm just kidding. I have no objection to adding this item to the consent calendar also.
Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Any objection moving this matter to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 6 will be added to the consent calendar. Moving on, item number 7, an act concerning vacancies and replacement of names on election ballots. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved by Fletcher, second by Representative Thomas. Any question? This matter is brought us by the Town Clerk Association. I believe it does exactly what the title states, makes attempt to make a statutory change to the time frame within which vacancies may be made on vacancies occur and replacement may be made of names on ballots. Any question, comments? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it your expectation that this concept will likely look very much like the bill that we had last session that didn't quite make it to the finish line? But as you said, is an attempt to accommodate all of the timeframes necessary to make sure that we have the appropriate names on the ballot. God forbid there's a change because of someone's passing or someone just getting off the ballot or whatever.
I believe so. Without having the full recollection of the technicalities of last year's legislation, I believe it's similar. I believe that one was created by Town Clerk, so I believe it's a similar bill. Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Yeah, this one can go on the consent calendar also.
Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Not any objection to this matter being added to the consent calendar. Seeing none, item 7 will be added to the consent calendar. Moving on, page 2, item number 8. That concerning purchase of artwork for state building projects. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Santiago.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or discussions? Representative Mastrosky, your hand is raised.
Sorry about that. It's taken me a minute to get to my unmute button. I don't have any objections to this being on a consent calendar.
Thank you, Representative. Any further questions or comments? Any objection? Item number 8 being added to the consent calendar. Seeing none, item 8 will be added to the consent calendar. Moving on, item number 9, an act concerning Freedom of Information Act, remote public meetings. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Moved by Senator Flexer, and I think seconded by Representative Thomas, if not Representative Moore and Mello. Any questions or comments? Representative Mastrosky, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Representative Fox. This was actually, I believe we certainly is a good discussion. There was a lot of discussion last year about remote meetings. I certainly think is worth having another discussion on it. So I have no objections to putting this on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Representative. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, any objections, matter being added to the consent calendar. No objections, matter being added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, item number 10, an act concerning studying, instituting a full-time legislature and legislator salary. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Thomas. Any questions or discussion? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've seen this topic in the news recently, and I'm going to try and keep an open mind, although I have significant concerns, certainly about the first part of that title, about creating a full-time legislature. But I would allow this to go on the consent calendar also. I do believe it's a conversation that is overdue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Any objections to item number 10 being added to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item 10 will be added to the consent calendar. Item number 11, an act concerning the website accessibility committee. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Moore and Bello.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Moore Bell. Any discussions or comments? Seeing none, is there an objection to this matter being added to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item 11 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, item number 12, an act recognizing Portland as the golf capital of the state. Is there a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved by, is there a second?
Second by
Moved.
Santiago.
Moved by Representative Thomas, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments for discussion? Representative Carpino, your hand is raised from the town of Portland, I believe.
It is, and I want to thank the committee's indulgence. I recognize that this isn't what we normally see. I suspect that this will ultimately end up in a days, weeks, months type of issue and not ultimately in a standalone, but I appreciate the chair's indulgence at this point of the committee process.
Thank you, Representative. Appreciate your comments. Any further comments or discussion? Representative Carpino, your hand is raised again. Is that a mistake or no? Okay. Any objections to the matter being added to today's consent calendar? Any golfers from other part of the state who reject this matter being added to today's consent calendar? Yeah, Senator Sands, maybe. Seeing none, item 12 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, item number 13, an act concerning titles of female elected officials. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Thomas. Any questions or discussion? Representative Mastrosky, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Representative. Can the chairs elaborate a little bit more on what this means? I certainly have some concerns about it. It seems to me it's like a freedom of speech issue. I'm not really sure where this one is going. Do you have any further information on it?
Yes, thank you, Representative. I believe this matter was brought to our attention by Representative Clarity's Deetra, who seeks us to look at the banners, the titles that are used in I believe statutes and other maybe the Constitution as well. For instance, instead of selectmen, it'd be selectwoman as well, or chairman, chairwoman. Just take a better closer look at the titles that are used to refer to elected female officials as well as male officials. Not sure if that's helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. So is the goal to take the word man out of these words? I'm assuming that's what it is. I think it's just going too far. So I would just, Representative, I would just certainly ask for a roll call vote on this one. Thank you.
The roll call vote will be taken. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on item number 13, enact concerning titles of female elected officials?
Flexer. Senator Flexer votes yes.
One more time, Senator, please.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Thank you. Fox.
Representative Fox votes yes.
One more time, Mr. Chair, please.
Representative Fox votes yes.
Thank you. Haskell.
Civil docket.
Senator Haskell
September
votes yes.
2015.
Thomas.
Representative Thomas votes yes.
Sampson.
Senator Sampson votes no.
One more time, Senator, please.
Of course, Senator Sampson votes no.
Thank you. Master Francesco.
Thank you. Representative Mastro Francesco votes no.
Blumenthal.
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Carpino.
Representative Carpino votes yes.
Fishbein. Representative Fishbein. France.
Representative France votes yes.
Haddad.
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Labriola.
Representative Labriola votes yes.
McCarthy Vahey. Representative McCarthy Vahey. McCrory. Senator McCrory. Morinbello.
Representative Morinbello votes yes.
Palm.
Representative Palm votes yes. Representative Palm votes yes.
Rosario. Representative Rosario.
Representative Rosario votes yes.
Santiago.
Santiago votes yes.
Slap.
Senator Slapp votes yes.
All set, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving on, item number 14, a resolution proposing an amendment to the state constitution to permit no excuse absentee ballot voting. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second by
Second.
Morinbello.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Morinbello. Any questions or comments? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I see that item number 14 is a resolution proposing an amendment to the state constitution to permit no excuse absentee voting. Just for anyone watching and the edification of the members of the committee, if they're not aware, we have already voted one time to pass this resolution through the Connecticut General Assembly. However, it did not reach the 75% threshold. So that requires two consecutive General Assemblies to vote to with a simple majority to make that resolution into a reality. Because the resolution passed by 50% or more, but not 75% last year, passing it simply by 50% or more this year would not make any difference. I presume that this is on the agenda because of a conversation that I had with the chairs and the hope that there is some path to potentially reaching a compromise that might achieve a 75% positive vote for this item. And I'll just state right here that I would like to see that happen. I am not a fan of no excuse absentee voting. However, I am even less of a fan of no excuse absentee voting without the proper checks and balances. And if it means the difference between having no excuse absentee voting, possibly without a unsolicited mailing or with signature verification in place or some other checks and balances that might be beneficial, I believe that, folks on the Republican side of the aisle would be willing to have a conversation. So for that reason, I'm going to not object for this item to continue moving forward, and hope that we can continue a productive conversation and maybe work together to do something in a bipartisan way on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. And your assessment and assumption was correct, that we raised this matter after our discussion yesterday, and I hope that we can move forward in a productive manner and see if we can get the threshold if possible. And as with other, unlike with other regular bills, resolutions, if they're not raised, they can be raised later on in the session. So we have to raise them now as a standalone resolution. They can be kind of created as an amendment later on in the line. So that was the reason why it was raised today as well. Any further questions or comments on the underlying matter before us? Is there an objection to this matter being added to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 14 will be added to the consent calendar. Moving on to item number 15. An act concerning the recommendations of the risk limiting audits working group. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Santiago.
And a second?
Second.
Moved by Representative Santiago, second by Representative Thomas. This is a matter that came to us. The risk limiting audits working group released a report on February 22nd, 2022, a few weeks ago, just this year, with their findings of their task force that worked last year. And this is a matter that would be related to looking further at those findings and seeing if any, what, if any, can be done with those findings. Any comments or discussions? Seeing none, any objection to this matter being added to the consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 15 will be added to the consent calendar. We got item number 16, an act funding the statewide firearms trafficking task force. Is there a motion?
So moved. So moved. Second.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Thomas. Any comments or discussion? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the committee for putting this item on the agenda today. This is a policy initiative that I have been pushing for almost a decade. I was delighted to see the governor in his gun violence proposals include this item. I don't agree with most of what he's doing. I'm a very strong advocate of the Second Amendment and the protection of law-abiding gun owners, but I do believe that there is a real need to address illegal guns being trafficked and used in crimes, particularly in our cities. And this is the type of policy that would go directly to addressing that. So I'm very pleased that it is before us today, and I will certainly vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Is there any objection to this matter being added to today's consent calendar? No objection. Item number 16 will be added to today's consent calendar. We got item number 17, an act concerning a study of single envelope absentee ballot voting, absentee balloting. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or discussions? Any objections to this matter being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item number 17 will be added to today's consent calendar. We got item number 18, an act concerning the process for declaring civil preparedness and public health emergencies. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you again for adding this item to this list today. We may not come completely to a final agreement between all of us on what the proper procedure is for the declaration of public health or civil preparedness emergency, but I think we can all agree that the existing statute does need some work, and I'm pleased that we're going to have a conversation about it this year. So thank you very much for having this on here, and I have no objection to this going on consent as well.
Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Any objections to this matter being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item 18 will be added to today's consent calendar. Item number 19, an act concerning unclaimed property. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, Morinbello.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Morinbello. Any questions or comments? Any objection to this matter being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item 19 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, item number 20, an act concerning the State Property Review Board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Santiago.
Haddad,
Moved by Senator Flexer, seconded by, I think, by Santiago, if not Haddad. Any questions or comments? Any objections not being added to today's consent calendar? Item 20 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, 21, an act concerning state agency meetings. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, any objections not being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item 21 will be added to the consent calendar. Moving on, item 22, resolution commemorating the 22nd anniversary of the Connecticut-Taiwan sister state relationship. Is there a motion?
So moved.
second,
Second.
Haddad,
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Haddad. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, any objections not being added to today's consent calendar? Item number 22 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, an act concerning online posting of certain state contracts. Is there a motion?
So moved.
The second.
Second.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Thomas. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, any objections not being added to today's consent calendar? Item 2023 will be added to today's consent calendar. On item 24, an act concerning state audit of financially distressed municipalities. Is there a motion?
So moved.
In a second.
Second, Santiago.
By Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments? Any objections not being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item 24 will be added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, item 25, an act establishing Juneteenth Independence Day as a legal holiday. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Fletcher, second by Representative Santiago. Any question or discussion? Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I certainly don't object to Juneteenth becoming a holiday. I'm just curious if there's any more to this. Do we know if it's replacing another day, Columbus Day, for instance, or if this is going to, it says legal holiday. Would that mean that it is a paid day off for state employees? It's fine if you don't know that information yet. I just thought I would ask at this point.
It's a fair question. I don't know the answer to that yet. I think the bills, the concept just remain just a concept today. So I think we're not yet worked out the details. But I don't have that information in front of me.
Understood. Okay, I have no objection to this going on consent.
Any more questions or comments? Thank you, Senator. Any further questions or comments? Any objections about being added to today's consent calendar? Seeing none, item 25, we added to today's consent calendar. Item 26, an act concerning state agency procurement. Is there a motion?
So moved.
The second.
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Santiago. This matter is brought to us by OPM. And I think it's overall looking at the state agency procurement processes, I believe. I don't have many more details, but I believe that's it is what the title says it is. Any questions or comments? And then seeing none, any objections to the matter being added to today's consent calendar? See no objection, item 26, we added to today's consent calendar. Moving on, an act creating a task force to study implementation of voting reforms. Is there a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second, Santiago.
Moved by Senator Flexer, second by Representative Santiago. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, is there objections not being added to today's consent calendar? No matter will be added to today's consent calendar. As you can see, item 28, 29, and 30 are duplicative of items that were included. I think it's items number 1, 2, and 3 on the agenda. That was a drafting mistake, so I apologize about that. And item, I think we're ready to call the consent calendar if the clerk's ready. Representative Matrosky, hands raised.
Thank you. Did we do item 31?
We're holding it.
We did not know.
Are we taking that off the agenda, or are you planning? I just wanted to get more information. What's going on with that one?
I believe that was I think again, maybe an drafting oversight. I'm not sure we can, I'm not sure we're able to address the joint rules via a resolution. I believe that was the case. So I think,
Okay, so that put on the agenda in error? We're not
I believe so,
addressing
yes,
that?
correct. That's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Sampson, your hand is raised.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so I just wanted to ask, not that it really matters, but items 28, 29, and 30, I presume you're holding them, for lack of a better term, because they were already contemplated in items 1, 2, and 3. So the consent calendar, if you could just list the items that are included by number, I would appreciate that before we vote. And thank you very much.
Of course, yes, Senator Sampson, your assessment is correct. They were simply duplicative, and there was no other reason to include them. It was a drafting error on our end, so we apologize about that. The consent calendar, Madam Clerk, if you want, I can read off what I have, and you can.
Sure, Mr. Chair.
Consent calendar items number 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 through 27. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
I think it's the appropriate time to call the consent calendar, Madam Clerk, if you can.
A roll call on the consent calendar, or
Yes, please, correct.
okay. Flexer,
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Fox,
Representative Fox votes yes.
Haskell,
Senator Haskell votes yes.
Thomas,
Representative Thomas votes yes.
Sampson,
Senator Sampson votes yes.
Master Francesco,
Representative Mastro Francesco votes yes.
Blumenthal,
Representative Blumenthal votes yes.
Carpino,
Representative Carpino votes yes.
Fishbein, Representative Fishbein, France,
Representative France votes yes.
Haddad,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Labriola,
Representative Labriola votes yes.
McCarthy Vehy, Representative McCarthy Vehy, McCrory, Senator McCrory, Moran Bello, Representative Moran Bello votes yes. Palm,
Representative Palm votes yes.
Rosario,
Representative Rosario votes yes.
Santiago, Representative Santiago votes yes. Slap,
Senator Slapp votes yes.
all set, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As indicated earlier, votes will stay open until 2 o'clock today. No further questions or comments from the committee members. The committee will stand in recess until 2 p.m. today. Thank you all for your help and assistance today. Have a nice weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, Representative.
yeah, I believe I may have missed a vote early on number 4, please. I was on 2 other Zooms.
Sure.
I think I missed a resolution amending the Constitution for reproductive autonomy.
You did vote for it. I had you, you were present.
Oh, I was. All right. So
Yeah.
you have me for everything there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
No, no worries. Representative Rosario, you missed the first vote, if you're still there. Hi, Representative. Representative McCarthy Vahey. Hi.
Hello, Madam Clerk.
Hi. We had, yes, I can. So most of the items went on the consent calendar. We had 2 roll call votes, and then the last roll call vote was on all the consent items. The first roll call vote is item number 4 on the agenda. Do you have access to the agenda, or?
One second, I did have it, and let me just go back. Thank you. Resolution amending the Constitution for reproductive autonomy and freedom. That's right, number 4.
Yes.
Yes. Representative McCarthy Vahey votes yes.
The next roll call vote is on item number 13.
Okay. The recommendations for the rest of the limiting audit working group.
An act concerning titles of female elected officials.
Oh, thank you. I had the wrong one. Representative McCarthy Vahey votes yes.
And the last roll call vote was on all the consent items. We held the last 4 items, but everything else above that is part of that roll call.
Wonderful. And Representative McCarthy Vahey votes yes.
Perfect. You're all set, Representative.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Have a good day. Senator McCrory.
Hello.
Hi. You missed item number 4 on today's agenda. Do you have access to the agenda? Or
Yes, I'm voting yes.
okay. Item 13 on the agenda was also roll call vote.
Yes.
The last 4 items on the agenda were held, but everything above that went on a consent calendar.
Voting yes for the consent calendar.
That's it. You're all set, Senator.
Huh?
You're all set, Senator. That
Thank
was
you.
it.
Thank you.